First, we have the voiced alveolar trill. That is when you put the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, a little bit behind the alveolar ridge, and then you breathe out, and like the forced air causes your tongue to vibrate. You see this in languages like Spanish, words like alrededor and rodea. So I thought I would include that one. I know how to roll my R's like a little. Such as gringo, which I'm gonna be hearing a lot. Not funny. The voiced retroflex plosive, and that is basically you curl your tongue behind the alveolar ridge at like a hard plate, and you see this in India with the whole da or da. The voiceless velar fricative, and that is basically voiceless. You just block the air at the back of your throat with your tongue, and basically it sounds like aha. You hear this in Czech with chalap, and in Scottish lach. The voiceless alveolar affricate, which is basically the English T and S just combined, which if you were to describe it, it is just forcing the air out at the teeth. And you see this in languages like Japanese. You have it's tsunami, and you also have this in German where it's sight. The voice uvula fricative. You raise the back of your tongue up to the uvula, and you like restrict the airflow, and then you also voice that. Aha. You see this in French and in German. A German word is like hat. For the front open rounded vowel, it's in the front of your mouth, of course, it's rounded, and it's also open, which means that your tongue is basically at the bottom of your mouth. It sounds like O, as in Dutch, the oat. The central close unrounded vowel is basically in the middle of your mouth, and it is closed, so that means that the tongue is pretty high up. And for this one, I just think about the fact that it is between E and U. Ooh. The open mid back unrounded vowel. That's in the back of your mouth. Ah. Ah. See that in French and Korean. And a Korean example is na. Midtone, which is just, for an example, like ma. It's just flat, no intonation. Which I included this because in Japanese, the one language that I do know, they don't have any tone changes for their questions. It's all just flat. So I wanted to include this. It's like they have basically phrases to indicate questions. For example, if you were to say "Anata wa hoshii desu," that means you want it. And then if you're gonna say "Anata wa hoshii desu ka," that would mean like, do you want it? But of course, it's just like flat tone the entire time. I thought that was really strange, so I decided to include it. I have high tone, which I thought was interesting in Thai, which is to go from like, as I said in English, we go from like mid-pitch to high pitch to indicate a question. For this one, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, for example, ma, again, it's ma. Okay, so I stopped filming for the night, but overall I like this assignment. However, there's not a lot of references on how to voice the vowels, so I just pretty much listened to the IPA chart and guessed with, you know, where it was in relationship to the English ones.